carburetor, I'm taking one plate at a time off and do it slowly. And I'm putting them, as I clean them, I put them on. I'll put them together just so I don't lose the placement of them. So this right here was fully gunked up. There's still a little bit. I can't take off this gasket. I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna ruin it. That little bit ain't gonna hurt. As new gas and all that starts flowing through, because there will be treatment running through it, it'll be fine. But it was, I mean, it was over halfway with just a oily sludge buildup. So I was able to get that cleaned up pretty good. I got it up, basically cleaned up. I got the hose cleaned out. This is the plate. So there was a heavy rest of corrosion, heavy set of corrosion on it. So what I did is I lightly took my buffer. I have a soft wire, and I lightly hit it, just enough to knock the big stuff off. And I have this 800 grit sandpaper, and all I did was it's flat, and then we kept working until it gave me a smooth surface. And then I just kind of spray some knocker loose, because I'm trying not to waste this. I don't have much, so I just sprayed some knocker loose on it, and I went ahead and I took the air and I cleaned it out, and I took my lines, I took my rag and I cleaned it off. So this right here is the filter. So whenever this is the last stuff, this is the last defense for whenever fuel's getting inside this thing. So it sits in here. You want to make sure this is all clean, because this is heavy corrosion. I was able to save the gasket. I got it soaking with this on it. I'm gonna kind of wipe it. I find it helps with the corrosion, take off some of the corrosion. I ain't able to get all of it off, but I'm gonna do what I can to get most of it. So I did take my buffer and I lightly buffed it smooth. I took a little bit of sandpaper and I lightly hit it again, and I took my blowgun and I started blowing through it. And the filter, I blew through it and I cleaned it out. Make sure this is clean before you put it back in there. But yeah, I'm just about wrapped up in this. I'm gonna blow through it one more time and I'm gonna start assembling this back together. This is the diaphragm. This is actually where the fuel starts going through the carburetor. All right, now back to the other side. So this is where your jetting's at. As you can see, it's a little gunked up with that old oil that's been saturated in it. So this one's already apart. Now, this plate, all it is just 2 Phillips head screws. Just pull this out. When you undo the screws, I grabbed it like this. And just pulled up. It came right up. So, but I did get my buffing wheel. This is what I'm talking about. I did get this and just lightly buff it. So I clean all the heavy stuff off of it, and I clean off the plate. I'm not taking the plate off because of these lines. I ain't touching that. Don't want to ruin them. I don't have any to replace it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these jettings out, and I'm gonna clean it out. So inside here, you see that big hole? Now that's where this goes. So this is this needle and seat right here. It goes in there, and this is what cuts off the fuel delivery. So you can't see it, but there's this flap. So there's this little plate, and there's this screw right here. I'm gonna just clean everything. I'm not letting this out my sight. So you can just barely make it out. But there is 2 dimples. Make sure it sits between those 2 dimples. Alright, so there we go. It's a little tricky, so just pay attention to what you're doing. Do not lose that flap. Okay, so I did put this back together. You do have a jet that goes in here. That's your low speed jet, and this is your high speed jet. I did take them out, both of them, and I did blow through them and clean them. So you take them and after you clean them out, if you're using brake cleaner or whatever you're using, compressed air, take it, put the opposite end to the light, to the sun, whatever, and look through it. If you can look clean through it, then you know it's good. So I got both of those clean. I kind of wiped down the gasket a little bit. I had it soaking with knocker loose on it. Got that all cleaned out. Got all the surfaces cleaned out. So as you know, I got this back together. So I'm gonna go ahead and install this back on there. Alright, so I got the carburetor on. Is this bolt and this bolt. There's 2 Allen heads, and that size is going to be a 6 mil. All right, so got that bolted up. The carburetor's clean. So this is for your oil pump. So as you throttle it, so it pulls it, it does pull the throttle. As it throttles it, it pulls up on that lever. I never tore into it. Don't want to, just for in case, because we're trying to get this just out, because they want it for tomorrow. But I'm guessing whenever, as it's rotating, this is just a valve opening so you can get more flow. So of course, you know that the higher RPM this motor is rotating, you need more lubrication. So as you running it, it's gonna allow more to run with it. I'm guessing that's giving the ratio. I think the normal ratio is 40-1. I don't remember. I don't know what these run at idle. I think I heard at one point it was like 50-1. So I'm guessing this just riches it to where you don't lose lubrication at the top end. So the carburetor part is done. I'm gonna go ahead and put that plate on that, and see, this is where I was talking about. So my plate could just slide in. I gotta take this out because you can see the amount of room. You think you can have enough room to get in there with an Allen head? No. So that's why I put these bolts in there, and then I'm gonna put that plate with those notches so I can just slide it on there.
Sun is coming up, are you ready to go? We can take a ride, we can take it slow. Your will is my law, I'ma let you be the boss, cause I'll go where you go. I'll take you to a place we can see it all. Step off the edge, I can break your fall. Your will is my law.